Hi, Frank Gray, attorney at the law firm of Gemetto & Gray. Here today to talk to you about how to divorce, specifically what your custody lawyer should be talking to you about and telling you. As always, if you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we're pushing out more family law content that will help you with your divorce and custody cases in Maryland. All right, what should your lawyer be telling you? Sometimes as a lawyer with a client, we have to have uncomfortable conversations. And there are plenty of times when I get clients that come in that have been working with other lawyers, but things haven't gone their way and they're looking for a new lawyer. Oftentimes, it's because the lawyers haven't had some of these difficult conversations with the clients to sort of give them what I would call a reality check. So I just want to go through a few things that your divorce or custody lawyer should be telling you. Number one is they should be telling you the brutal truth. What that means is identifying problems and solutions. Especially in custody cases, there are a few recurring themes that we see about problem scenarios and high conflict custody cases. If your job, meaning the demands of the parental employment, is a problem, even though you may not want to hear it, you need to hear that. There may be a new significant other in your life that's causing a conflict. You need to hear that. Sometimes you're the problem. Sometimes the residual emotion from the breakup of the marriage or the relationship is affecting decisions you're making, especially in custody cases involving kids. Disparaging comments, things that are done kind of passively, aggressively to gaslight the children. These are all things that end up coming back to bite you. And if you have an experienced lawyer, they ought to be warning you about these problems along the way and not telling you what you want to hear. It's better that you hear it from your lawyer early on, even though it's not easy to hear, than to hear it from a judge in their final decision when you are losing your case based on mistakes that you've made. Number two thing that your custody lawyer should be telling you in a divorce case is that circuit court judges in Maryland are trained to look at everything through the children's eyes. What that means is, although your spouse may be a terrible spouse and even problematic for you to deal with on a parental level, most circuit court judges, the first question that they're going to ask themselves in their mind is, how is what you're telling me affecting the child? The two of you may not agree, communication may not be easy, but is it occurring in front of the child, or is this just behind the scenes parental stuff? And the brutal answer a lot of times is, if what's going on doesn't affect the child, it's not going to factor very much into the court's decision. The third conversation you ought to be having with your custody lawyer in the context of your divorce in Maryland is talking about a long-term strategy. What are we moving towards? In other words, we have to have a goal at the end of the litigation. So we have to talk about tactically how to get from where we start to where we want to go. And unfortunately, a lot of clients don't know exactly where they want to go. They say, well, I want as much time as possible, or I want joint custody. Well, those are amorphous terms. That could mean something different to you than it does to me. One of the early conversations has to be, what do you want? And are you really capable of doing it? How realistic is it? And what I mean by that is, oftentimes when we work with families, where they want to go is not necessarily ascertainable right now in the first round of litigation. We may have to work over a number of years to reposition that parent to get them where we want them to be, to ask for what they really want years down the line. The fourth uncomfortable conversation you ought to be having with your lawyer in a custody case or in the context of divorce is, what do you do when there's no court order? It's easy enough to have something in black and white, whether you like it or you don't like it, it's there to follow. As a parent or a litigant, when there's no order to pay child support, when there's no order to pay alimony, even though there may be an obvious situation where you should, your lawyer should be telling you, you've got to be doing certain things. You've got to be making sure that access happens with the other parent, even though there's no court order compelling you to do it. And the reason is, there's just a certain level of expectation in a judge's mind. If you don't meet that, what I would call common expectation, when it comes to certain financial issues regarding the litigants, regarding the kids, and certain access issues, if you fall below kind of that minimum bar, the judge is going to look at you sideways, and you're really going to lose what I call the popularity contest. And once you lose the popularity contest, it can be very difficult for a circuit court judge to turn around and do you any favors in their decision, or to say that they entrust you with being the one to make decisions for the kids. So make sure you're having that conversation with your lawyer, even though it may be uncomfortable. As always, thanks for watching. I'm going to throw a description to the book down below where we go over these topics and many more topics about family law to help you in your divorce or Maryland custody case.